Powerful new soundbar Samsung Q800A. If you're a movie buff, the Q800A is arguably the best soundbar you can get at this price. The system's subwoofer lays down massive amounts of bass, too, and it's so well made that it has no rattling, buzzing, or distortion problems even when you're cranking up the volume. If you're more into music, you might prefer something like the Sonos Arc, which offers slightly less aggressive sound. However, it does tick the huge sound from a compact speaker box uniquely well, especially paired with one of Samsung's new premium TVs. In its grilled finish, the Q800A trim design looks great, and should fit under most TVs without obscuring their picture or infrared receivers. However, Samsung's acoustic beam technology can make the Q800A sound like it has more channels than it actually does by pushing height channel information through 56 different holes, creating a bigger, more evenly dispersed overhead soundstage. You can also get a more convincing, immersive and well-rounded sound experience with the Q800A if you have a Samsung TV that has space-fit, Adaptivesound plus automatic sound optimization. The Q800A supports DTS:X and Dolby Atmos, which is expected of a soundbar with height channels. It also supports eARC and Amazon Alexa voice control, and there's a new upgrade path that lets you add 2.0.2 channel rear speakers, rather than previous 2.0.0 channel upgrades. Q800A's 3.1.2 channels are precise, powerful, and dynamic, meaning you feel every note. There's a real sense of height as well as width to the sound, and its 8 inches subwoofer delivers some of the deepest rumbles in the soundbar world. As with the Q800T, the sound isn't necessarily different unless you're using it with a Q70A or above Samsung TV. Since the Q800T was already a great soundbar, the adage "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" applies. Despite not being a big step up from its predecessor, the Q800A is still a great soundbar that makes its $899, £799, $1,190 Australian asking price seem like a steal. The HWQ800A is similar to 2020's Q800T. It has the same dimensions, 980 watts, 980 by 60 by 115 mm, WXHXD, so it fits under most TV screens without infringing on their pictures or IR receivers. Its sculpting, where the top edge angles down to optimize how the height channels are distributed, is also the same. And it has the same grilled finish. The chunky subwoofer even has an 8-inch driver like the Q800T. Samsung hasn't made any significant internal changes since 2020, so this is a bit disappointing. However, in pure form factor terms, we like the Q800T's design. So naturally we also like the Q800A. The main soundbar and subwoofer are both very good looking, and while the subwoofer isn't particularly attractive, few are, you can hide it away at the side of the sofa or under a side table without necessarily affecting its sound. I'm glad Samsung didn't do what it did with its Q950T soundbar last year and put the LED on the top edge where you can't see it when you're sitting down. You can set the Q800A on top of your TV, but if you want to wall mount it, Samsung provides the bracket and screws. Q800A speaker setup is the same as Q800T's. Front left, front right, center channel, and 2 height channels are all powered by the Q800A's 3.1.2 drive array, while the external subwoofer gives you 0.1 bass channel powered by 330 watts. There's also a Samsung 9500T optional rear speaker you can get for $299, £249, $499 that adds an up-firing as well as front-firing driver to give you a full Dolby Atmos experience. The Q800T's rear speakers don't have up-firing drivers. With its new Adaptivesound Plus, Space Fit system, the Q800A does more than its predecessor to optimize the sound to your room. Keep in mind, though, that this feature is only available when running with Samsung's new QLED TVs, from the Q70A series. There's also an automatic voice amplifier on the Q800A, so you won't miss any key dialogue when there's a lot of noise in the room. In addition to the Dolby Atmos/DTS:X modes, there are also 4 other processing modes. Standard simply plays incoming audio as is, without any further processing. Surround remixes sub-Dolby Atmos/DTS:X sources to take advantage of all the speakers. Adaptivesound optimizes incoming audio sources to best fit the soundbar's characteristics. Last but not least, there's a Game Pro mode that makes game soundtracks more immersive. In trials with Dolby Atmos and DTS:X soundtracks, the Q800A goes beyond what even the most enthusiastic home cinema fan would want to hear, hitting levels of volume and dynamics that would be hard to reconcile with its compact design. All without a hint of distortion or harshness, even in the densest of soundtracks. Q800A isn't just about big moments, though. It's sensitive enough in the way it projects sound to make sure no detail goes missed, no matter how subtle or quiet. The Q800A excels at presenting height effects. There is a real sense that sounds are coming from above the sound bar, and it places these sounds perfectly in both height and width terms. As a result, the Q800A does more justice to Dolby Atmos soundtracks than you'd expect possible from a compact 3.1.2 channel system. The Q800A does very well with less sophisticated, less channel-rich sources. Every source you feed it sounds clean, powerful, surprisingly dynamic, and impressively spacious and detailed. 5.1 and 7.1 mixes sound almost as good as Atmos mixes. It's a shame there's no dedicated music preset, though. The presets you do get can all sound a little aggressive and dense with some kinds of music, usually layered guitar rock and heavy orchestral pieces. Last but not least, the Q800A's extended features when combined with a compatible Samsung TV, Q Symphony and the new Sound Optimizer Plus. By combining the soundbar and TV speakers, you instantly add more height to the mix, not least because the vertical effects seem more direct because they're coming from the TV, not your ceiling. Q Symphony also helps lift voices higher in the mix, eliminating the low vocals issue I mentioned earlier. In Q Symphony mode, there's a slight loss of midrange meatiness, and dialogue sounds thinner than on the soundbar alone. We use the Q800A with a 65QN95A and a 75Q900A Samsung TV, and the speakers blended in quite well with the Q800A's power and tone. But Q Symphony is still a genuinely interesting option that will work in some installations, especially in rooms with vaulted or beamed ceilings. When you use the sound calibration feature, the Q800A's soundstage is notably more balanced, controlled, detailed and convincing, which also makes it more immersive. In fact, it's this feature that makes the Q800A the most significant step up over last year's Q800T. Just make sure your Samsung TV has the right mic for this feature.